So let's hit the ground running for the 7th day of the month of June. It's a Wednesday. Let's get on to today's Frontier Opening Bell, everyone. Look at the markets. The news coming through this morning was that the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange was shut down temporarily again today after running red hot. The exchange trading engine was shut down on Tuesday because it overran the daily maximum limit of 10%. That happened again today as investors piled into the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange just to escape what the government is working on. As far as exchange rate is concerned, they're taking advantage of the Zimbabwean dollar, which is seriously weak against the American greenback. But go to the top of the table, look at Tuesday's trading day. Across the major markets, we covered all in the green. The Zimbabwe stock market is running around 140,000 on the All-Share Index as we speak. Went up 11% yesterday, beat the rest of the market on the continent. The GSE up by 31, Nigeria up by 42 points. Botswana market has joined the World Federation of Exchanges. In Cote d'Ivoire, we saw 0.06% uptick on the composite index. In Arabic stock market, better by 0.4%, while the Egyptian market was better by roughly 0.9%. So it's a positive Tuesday across a number of frontier Africa markets. Let's take that down. Look at the big stories we're following across the East Africa right now as we speak, because the British fintech Unilimit has obtained license in Kenya to join the country's financial markets, while Kenya has shelved initial plans to privatize all sugar companies owned by the government. It should now have to go through government bailout and support after protests from the parliament and a few other organizations. The Central Bank of Kenya, under Patrick Njoroge, who is leaving in the next couple of days, have cleared the new M-Pesa's Safaricom's interest rate-free backed loan. You can spend up to 100,000 shillings interest-free on the new program that Safaricom has just unveiled. That's consumer credit taken to another level by that iconic brand in East Africa, Kenya to be precise, Safaricom's M-Pesa. And the DR Congo's lawmakers have validated about $360 million worth of infrastructure and borrowings relating to projects in this huge Central African economy. And the NCBAO Bank of Tanzania says its mobile money services has pulled about 7 million users into that basket. That's part of increasing financial inclusion in the East African community. Let's get on into West Africa with Nigeria's market week, looking into the savings bond by the federal government for the month of June. Two papers currently on the street that will be closing on Friday. Today is the primary market auction by the Central Bank of Nigeria for the treasury market, while the FBN Holdings first quarter earnings rallied strongly on Monday. That started fading out on Tuesday. The World Bank issued a new report yesterday that's talk about the precarious footing or situation of the global economy right now, downgrading both emerging markets and developing markets economies into this GDP growth this year into next year. And just as we speak, the OECD, which is the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, has issued a new statement as well, released a new World Economic Outlook report, which also goes in line with the World Bank yesterday, saying that the global economy will pull back slightly to about 2.9% by 2024 and about 2.7% this year. The whole new report is there. For last year, global economy was around 3%, a little bit, a few notches, but now it's been downgraded a little bit lower. That's the latest from the OECD. But news coming through globally shows that venture capital funding of cryptos is nearly collapsing, 97% down since last year. No thanks to the latest, again, actions by the US SEC against Coinbase and Binance in the United States. You could see a further collapse in venture capitalists putting their funds into cryptocurrencies moving forward. And of course, you've got the Ghana's central bank governor, Addison, being optimistic that the country's inflation will slow down, just as the World Bank announced additional $150 million funding support for the vulnerable small and medium enterprises in West Africa's big economy. And inflation within the West Africa's Monetary Union region slowed to about 4.6% in the month of April. That's according to the latest report. South Africa President Cyril Ramaphosa yesterday held an emergency meeting with his cabinet members and CEOs of big companies to try to address the concerns around sanctions that South Africa could face because of its romance with Russia's President Vladimir Putin. South Africa has yet to come out categorically to condemn the Russian invasion of Ukraine since the war in Ukraine started in February of 2022. Now, President Ramaphosa is feeling the heat of sanctions, not just from the US, but could happen also from Europe. Of course, that takes up that crisis upon the crisis of Eskom, which is now around level 3 of load shedding. And South Africa, however, narrowly missed recession in the first quarter of this year, posting 0.4% GDP growth against 1.1% decline in the last quarter of last year. And Gold Fields in South Africa says it secured $1.2 billion facility to achieve its ESG priorities, environmental sustainability, and everything else within that space. And congratulations once again to the Botswana Stock Exchange for attaining full membership of the World Federation of Exchanges. In the meantime, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe has offered full financial asset, liquid asset status to the warehouse receipts issued by the country's mercantile exchange, while the country's Ntube says the country is looking at new ways to stabilize the country's prices, to address inflation, as well as the foreign exchange, working together in bed with the central bank. So we take it straight to North Africa, where Egypt has got a rating from the S&P Global as far as PMI is concerned for the month of May, 47.8 against 47.3 in the month of April. Anything below 50, you still are in a contractionary mode, but things look a little bit better, isn't it, for the biggest economy north of the continent. In the meantime, the country's FX reserves jumped to about $34.6 billion. That's at the end of last month, and that's data came from the Egypt's central bank. And SDX Energy says it's negotiating gas deals in Morocco, while Libya and Algeria are exploring the return of energy companies to work in Tripoli. Things been really tough for Libya since the ouster and the demise of former president and head of government, Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. And finally, United Arab Emirates and Egypt says they're building Africa's largest wind farm. That will be at about $10 billion US dollars, going to be the biggest on the African continent. And those are your big stories this Wednesday, the 7th of June. I am boasting them. If you have a great day, watch the show again on our YouTube as well, on our social media, as well as on our website at www.frontafricareports.com. Have a great day. See you soon.